Welcome back everyone, and welcome back once more to the whiteboard. Now last year I made a video discussing the animal spirits of various influencers or celebrities, and yeah, it kind of went down like a lead balloon. Maybe I shouldn't have focused such a video on people that are, real and very controversial, at least in 2 cases. So how about today we try again, but this time we're going to focus instead on fictional characters, because fictional characters can never be controversial, can they?
Poor deluded fool. He'll learn as we all did the hard way.
So first of all we're going to start off with the Renegade's Time Lord, the Doctor.
Doctor who? Doctor who?
Doctor? Doctor Who?
My name is Doctor Who.
It's not, is it?
I like it.
Although, saying how I wanted to avoid controversy, and since at least the Whittaker years, yeah, maybe not. So, hold on, I've got an idea. Just stay still a moment, I'm just going to perform a quick eye test, quickly. Now, as I was saying, Doctor Who has existed from 1963 until 2017, and in that time, the Doctor has certainly had quite the character. Now, when approaching this question initially of what animal spirit the Doctor would have, well, first of all, there's the fact that the Doctor has had 12 regenerations, 12 faces, 12 personalities, so it's really hard to fit a character like that into one box. I mean, I can't exactly put together a list of animal spirits for all 12 Doctors. I mean, that's just going to create a whole kettle of fish. I mean, this is going to be a 5-hour video. No one has that kind of time. But I think I was approaching the question in the wrong way, because when you get down to it, the Doctor has had... Certainly he has different personalities and different faces and such, but he still makes the same decisions no matter what. No matter what face or what personality the Doctor has, he still is going to do the same thing. He's still going to fight the monsters, still going to save the world, still going to travel through time and space, and still be the madman with a box. So what the Doctor's personalities are really like, it's sort of like a prism. So if you think about it, the Doctor's personality, his core traits. So let's say going in here we have core traits, and then prisming out is all the various personalities the Doctor has had, like different wavelengths of light going out into his different personalities. Let's say he starts off as Hartnell here, and then you got Troughton, and then you got Pertwee, and you got Smith, and you got all sorts. It's more accurate to list the Doctor's personalities as that, because sure, they may start off quite differently, but at the end of the day, the Doctor is still the Doctor. So let's look at the core traits of the Doctor and see what we get. So I think the first big character trait, or the first big factor to consider here, is his regenerative abilities. His ability to regenerate. It's not really a character trait, seeing as how every Time Lord is able to do it, but it's still something worth mentioning because it's a big facet to the Doctor's character, as it formulates a big part of the philosophy of not only Doctor Who as a programme, but also the Doctor's personal view on life.
Everything ends. And it's always sad. But everything begins again too. And that's always happy.
And as we know, the Doctor is quite the... well, not flighty character, but he is someone with the wind in his clothes. Always travelling about, zip 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 zip, always travelling through time and space, never staying still for too long. Being seen at key historical locations, being seen at great sights of wonder and beauty. Always travelling, because he's the Time Lord that ran away, so... But let us not also forget the Doctor is a powerful figure. He may not always want to have that power. He may sometimes feel bad about the fact that he is so powerful, but let's not forget he is the oncoming storm after all. And he holds a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight, but is also someone who has put himself in the position of fighting steadfast against evil. But that also comes with it a lot of times deific connotations.
You must have been like God.
Playing with so many people's lives, you might as well be a god.
me.
But with the regeneration, we can also put in healing, as he is, after all, a doctor. His intelligence, as well, is something to consider. His compassion is one of the most integral parts of the Doctor's character. One of the most integral things about him is that for all the times that he has lived, for over 2,000 years, everything he has seen, every minute minute of darkness and decay and evil that he has seen the universe from beginning to end. He knows the names of every star and he's seen the beginning and the end of them all. And all of that, it all made him kind. So what sort of animal do we put in with all these connotations? Well, I think a penguin.
You're trying to be funny.
No, but seriously. Yeah, maybe kind of obvious. But let's break it down. The phoenix is not only known for its rebirth, it is a symbol of rebirth, in fact. It's fiery regeneration. Funny that. But in some versions, particularly examples such as the Harry Potter films, it is also known for healing, with its tears having healing abilities. And if that doesn't fit the Doctor, I don't know what does. But also, as we've said, he travels around a lot, so a bird or a high-flying animal really does fit the character very well. There is also that the Phoenix myth has travelled so that many say that they will see a phoenix during moments of key historical significance. I did remember seeing something about the phoenix being seen oftentimes at battles, but I couldn't find any source on that. With the phoenix also often having deific connotations as well, being seen more so in the medieval era as a symbol for the divine, as a symbol of God. But if you want to say, well, hold on, the phoenix is a mythological animal, are we saying that the Doctor has the animal spirit of that? Nah, that's cheating. Fair dues. So, as a backup, let's say a penguin.
Why'd you run like that?
Like what?
Like a penguin with his arse on fire.
Ergonomics.
And so now we move on from the Doctor, the oncoming storm, to Ross Geller, the oncoming divorce.
Ross, I have been a divorce attorney for 23 years and never have I had so much business from one client.
What can we say about Ross Geller? Well, what can't we say? So what are his defining traits? Well, when first I figured this, I think one that really came to mind first of all was his neuroticism. That's a big source of his comedy, but
You ate my sandwich? You threw my sandwich away. My sandwich! My sandwich!
it's an unfortunate flaw of his character. Stems most of all from something we'll come back to later, but more often than not, it is a fallacy he has to work through due to his own insecurities and oftentimes his own mental image of how he wishes life to go. Because something big as well is, despite the fact that he started off as more the wallflower type and started off more as the socially awkward nerd, Ross Geller is clearly someone who is very romantic and social. I think this, coupled with his neuroticism, is his big flaw throughout the show that he's working through. Because as it stated at a later point in the show, Ross has this mental idea of what his future is to be. This perfect image of how he wishes his life to go. And the main conflict he has throughout the show is when his actual life is competing with that mental image. This is what leads to the relationship problems he has with Rachel when they first get together, because he's trying to force this mental image rather than let it happen naturally, even though they're not at the place of where they're ready for that sort of life at that point. It's also probably what led to heartbreak with his first wife Carol, because he wanted to force this mental image once again, so it led to him ignoring those signals and those flags that Carol wanted a different sort of life. This comes out for a third time with Emily, when he tries to force the marriage with her and try and speed up the process. Because once again, he is trying to force this idea of a future for himself rather than let it happen naturally. This could come from his neuroticism, or it could come from a form of stubbornness.
We were on a break! We were on a break! We were on a break.
Where he's basically forcing life to conform to his idea of it, rather than allowing it to happen naturally. Well, I guess life really did not go Ross's way after all. Well, actually it did, as it turned out, but that only came because he was able to finally get into a place of where, well, this is where the sitcom tropes kind of tip the hand a little bit. Because instead of Ross getting over this flaw and realising that he can't force life to go a certain way, he has to roll with it at times, instead everything has to cater around him. Or at least Rachel does. Okay, so she's moving to France, okay, moving to Paris, right? But he wants to be with her, so instead of saying, okay, I'll go and get a job in France, I'll become a professor or work at a museum in France, and be able to work there, make it work, he instead tries to get her to stay in New York, and he kind of gets his way by the end of the series. The show presents it as though the two of them are coming together and they've resolved all their issues and they're going to stick together. But really it doesn't seem that way, because Ross got his way. Rachel, she was done with New York in a way. As she has said, she got everything out of it that she wanted professionally. So, balls in the court of what would happen next after this happened. In my mind, divorce number 4.
I will think about the therapy.
But at the end of the day, this neuroticism, it is a flaw, and it comes about as a result of him still being that romantic social person. And it's paired with his unfortunate flaw of stubbornness and refusal to go with the flow and meet the world on its own terms. Instead, he tries to force the world to cater to his own internal logic and his own idea of how the world should be.
You don't like ice cream?
It's too cold.
Mate, it's ice cream. It's supposed to be cold, you numpty. So what kind of animal spirits does Ross Geller have? Well, in my mind, actually, I had 2 in mind, and I'll go through both. Otter. Now that's a kind of out there choice, but hear me out. Otters, much like Ross himself, are very intelligent animals. Yes, believe it or not, despite the fact that Ross is Ross, he is still a very intelligent person.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. I'm not finished counting! Wait a minute, there's no light on the back wall. How do I know when it's gonna start? Hello? Wait a minute, there's 2 sets of nozzles. Which one is it? Which one is it?
They're very intelligent animals, but also very social animals. But another interesting fact is that they pair as well with, what is it called, their rock, their stone or what have you? They'll have a favourite rock, otters, and they will carry that rock around for a long extended period of time and not let it go. That sounds very similar to Ross's inability to let go of this internal image it has. It's external, it's a material version of it, but it's the same mechanism. Alternatively, I thought another evolved creature, meerkat. And no, it's not because Ross will sell you insurance. Meerkats, much like otters, are also very intelligent animals, and they are very social, so they're very similar in that respect, but meerkats, in my mind, are a more neurotic animal. I mean, what is the image you think of with a meerkat whenever you see them? Of them popping out of their hidey holes, looking around, checking around for predators. If that doesn't pair well with Ross's unagi, I don't know what does. But there again, that's again the crux of it. The meerkat's neuroticism, much like Ross's neuroticism, is a defense mechanism. It's something that stems from Ross's instability, from how his world is turned upside down continually, and his forcing of trying to get it back on track. It's a defense mechanism. It's not Ross at his best. So Ross at his best is more like the otter. So if we're talking about the idealised version of Ross Geller, his animal spirit and what he probably is at his core is an otter. Him and his rock lobster. Whatever the reference is. Smelly cat. Have I gotten the Friends fans yet? Pivot. Coffee. Oh my god. It's all a moo point.
We were on a break!
Unagi.
My sandwich!
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I think I've had too much coffee today. Now we've gone from healers to dinosaur experts, but now we finish with dog defender pencil extraordinaire, John Wick. Where to start with John Wick? Well, at his core, John Wick is a lot of things. Merciless, certainly. Ruthless, brutal, resourceful, persistent, certainly. But what is it that drives him? In the first film, what drives him? What causes him to come out of retirement, to go back into this cesspool of death? What causes it? Love. The story of John Wick, it begins with his love for his wife, Helen. He is still mourning her death. And when he gets this dog, Daisy, it is a way out of this mourning process. It is a way forward to have love for something beyond just Helen. And a way to move forwards, to open his heart. And I think on some level, despite the fact that the first film is about vengeance, in a way it's still about that love. I think on some level John is hoping that he will die in this process, that he will be reunited with Helen. In a way that's kind of how the fourth film ends as well. It's almost like he's getting what he wanted, reunited with his wife, with the last thing to be scrawled on his tombstone being that he was a loving husband. Enough of this, back to the violence. Another big element of John Wick's character is his resourcefulness, as well as his determination and resilience. He is like a dog with a bone. As soon as he has a job to do, he will do whatever it takes to get it done, using whatever he needs to, be it a pencil, a makeshift revolver from a museum, a horse. If John Wick has something that needs to be done, he will do it. And once again that comes through in his brutality. And the violence doesn't really come about through torture or malicious enjoyment of violence. It never feels like that. It's more as though it's that effectiveness, once more, of just getting the job done and making sure it is done effectively. So once again, he does still display a form of intelligence, but it's not as much intelligence as in book intelligence or logistical carrying through or various mathematical equations and figuring out the perfect angle in order to strike someone in the head. No, it's more so out of quick thinking, using his wits and his smarts in order to survive and get through the situation in order to win. So we'll call it street smarts. A particular note of this is in the second film, when he needs to figure out a way out of the catacombs and needs to plan ahead for which guns he needs for a specific area and what will most likely be needed for a specific scenario. So all of this, his intelligence, his resourcefulness, his determination, that's all a lot to work with. But it's his love for his wife is what ultimately drives him. So we need to find an animal to fit John Wick, which not only is intelligent, resourceful, determined and brutal, but also feels great love. Or is very socially aware, or has a certain social intelligence. Which I think is a pretty apt comparison. I mean, certainly, I've said what I've said about his about the love he has for his wife. But the first film is kicked off when his dog is killed, and dogs of course are genetic cousins of wolves, or at least modern wolves. But not to forget as well, there is also his sort of... And not to forget in the fourth film, there was his... What was she? Was she like a blood sister or something in the fourth film? Was it like a sibling thing they had, or what? I mean, they did the thing, so maybe not by blood, but by pact. They're like siblings. It's complicated. But she had the wolf tattoo, so John Wick is continually paired with wolves, dogs, canines. This is a big part of the imagery of John Wick. His determination and his resilience are to be noted, because once more, as we've already said, he's like a dog with a bone. So John Wick is a wolf. Here come all the furries saying, oh, he's one of ours now, oh, nah. And so that comes to the end of this video. What did you make of my pairings? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whatever you think, let me know down below. And what characters should I look at next? If I should do this again at all. And until next time everyone, thank you for watching and peace be with you.